Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
This is a big deal.
It's a big deal tonight.
Yeah, it's fucking Mayor Cutie's Sweet 16.
She did turn 16 today. Well, when I've had her for 16 years and her age was unknown.
So she might be 20.
And when I got her, I remember some guy said to me, he's like, how old is that dog? And I was like, I don't know. I just got her. He's like, she's got that old look.
Well, our guest today has the opposite of the old look. She's got a young look. It's Beth Stelling, return favorite here at the podcast.
2011.
That's right.
Beth, you are so funny. I always love talking to you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for roasting Moshe and I for going to Starbucks.
You're welcome.
Wait, did we get shit for going to Starbucks?
No, look, I out of love, I said next time you're going to do that, please text me and I'll find a location near you that's more acceptable.
No, I was hanging out with my friend in this like
People
beach
drink
town.
Starbucks.
No, I was in the beach town with my friend. I was like, yeah, let's just go to Starbucks. He was like, what? And then he Googled it and he was like, and then we like went to this really cool, independent, much better coffee.
I'm not over here trying to rake you over the coals. I'm just saying, let me suggest something different. It's not even like I'm railing against the man. It's more like it is bad. If you're in an airport and you need an oatmeal, go for it. But do not go there for coffee.
I have a vague sense memory.
If you're out in the wild.
I always need an
last
oatmeal.
time I was on.
We talked coffee last time.
That's why I was bringing it up. Okay, I was just recapping. She's continued to roast you. No pun intended.
Roast me? I didn't do anything. What did I do?
Okay.
I'm just an innocent bystander over here trying to enjoy my life and get a little caffeine in the morning. I'll tell you what's good about
a lot
Starbucks.
of caffeine.
Good
They
about
spray it
Starbucks
on.
is that it's there.
Yeah.
It's there and it's acceptable.
And I'm asking you to search a little deeper.
Oh, wow. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Beth, what's been going on?
Everything's fine. It's a new year. I did just break up. Had a breakup
Yeah?
this week.
Are you out there? You're not out there yet.
No, I actually just cauterized my pussy.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
At Starbucks?
Yeah, I went to Starbucks and I was like, can I have an extra hot cauterization of my hoot? And they were like, no problem. How did you know we did that?
That's really cool. They take the steamer and they just will
The
sort of seal
wand.
it closed. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, you do have to hop up there on a stool, though.
This is kind of exciting that you're single because
This is hot news.
yeah, because our viewers, a lot of them,
cute.
yeah, they're cute.
I did stay in Malibu at a hotel. Didn't I tell you guys that?
No,
And a gentleman who works there was like, hey, I listened to you on the Endless Honeymoon podcast. That was really funny.
We're really big with the hotel staff.
Yeah.
in Malibu.
And you know, you have to be at least I think they say an 8 or a 9 to work there.
Oh wow! Did you get your flirt on at all,
No, because that was the last time we broke up.
Beth? Here's a question: you're single now.
Mhm.
Once you get out of the fetal position, you uncauterize that pussy.
Yeah.
What?
Slice it open.
What is
I let
Beth
the
Stelling?
first guy do the honors. I knight him with it first.
He's gonna put it on his forehead like Johnny Carson
Mhm.
with one of those envelopes. Does anybody remember that reference? The great.
No, honey, sorry.
Anyway, what is Beth Stelling?
We're too young.
What is Beth Stelling looking for in a man? What do you
If I
want?
have to do my little list.
Yeah, what's next?
I think I'm
Open micer?
I'm looking for a protege. I think it's hard because I'm still in the fetal position. What am I looking
yeah, how
for?
could you
I'm
even think
looking to
about
be
it?
alone and not have to put myself out there. And I obviously, you know, when you watch reality television show and they're like, this is why I don't put myself out there. This is why I don't trust. I'm never going to do this. It's like, it's so annoying to watch because it's like, yes,
That's
you
how I feel
are.
about my career.
What do you mean?
Like you're never going to put yourself out there
I
again?
feel like I work so hard at things and then I'm like, what's the point?
You're not the only one. So many people, it's never ending.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people who've been in the business about things like this when they're feeling, "Boop," and there's always someone you think is bigger or better or more or working more that is feeling the same thing. It's
just
endless.
the nature of the
honey.
business. So you just have to get over it, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's the same way you adapt to like, what if I never work again mentality.
Right.
But I will say difference here would be, you know, those were some of my fertile years. We can't say wasted because I don't know what I'm going to do. I think the longer I go without children, the harder it would be to irrevocably change my life.
You thinking it's a no?
I
No.
don't know.
I'm asking.
Ask her that.
I can't ask her that? What do you mean?
No, you're like, I just don't know the answer.
She just said she cauterized her pussy. You think there's off limits topics?
Well, that's to preserve the eggs.
Have you thought about putting them on ice?
I have lately.
On an ice latte?
Yeah.
At Starbucks?
Yeah. I'm taking them to Intelligentsia. I've already committed.
That's what we did. We did that. We got an ice baby.
Okay. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. But that's a whole process. And I feel like every female comic is talking about it right now.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Wait, I have a question.
Put them on ice, thaw them out. When you find somebody ready to nut on them frozen eggs,
yeah,
just thaw them on out.
Do they have to have extra hot cum to thaw them out?
Yes, they got to be. It's got to be fatty load.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you ask men out? Have you done that before?
No. I always say, like, I usually just, like a cat brings you roadkill and is like, a gift for you. And most people would like kick it away. I'm like, oh, should I eat it right now? Thank you so much. Yum, 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 yum.
Okay, you don't know for sure whether you want kids, but
yeah, that's such a hard, like, how it goes.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know who the dad would be, and that's pretty integral. Obviously,
Byron Allen.
My mom, did a great job, but I just don't. That's not what I'm looking to do.
Well, this is what I wanted to ask you. Do you think this is
That's the key. I didn't want to do it alone either.
Yeah, I don't.
And now here you are, and you basically are.
I found a fun dad to split the work with.
I found a fun mom, and I wanted to ask you if this sounds normal to you. Our child a few days ago had a fever, and Natasha, I would say her style of dealing with the fever was extreme interventionist.
No, Moshe was acting like it was crazy for me to put a wet rag on her forehead. A cold, just to get, it was
she
a
was
104
screaming,
fever.
Please take it off of me. I'm trying to sleep. And Natasha was like, if you're not going to have the wet rag, you have to take a sip of water or have a thermometer in your mouth. There has to be some.
I was monitoring the fever, Moshe.
Well, let me just ask you.
What about one of those cool ice pack things like the old fashioned?
Oh, the cute little, I just injured my head kind of Wile E. Coyotes.
I have a very strong memory, might have been my first memory, of sitting in a bathtub and my mom pouring ice cold water on me because I think I must have had a fever. So like, I'm sure that was too extreme, but like just putting a wet rag on the kid's face is not that big of a deal.
No.
You're right. That isn't that big of a deal. However, at about 11 o'clock at night, and the child is sleeping at this point, fully asleep, Natasha gets a text from an Israeli friend who's like, in our family, we put the vinegar soaked socks. Put the vinegar soaked socks. So Natasha's like, do you mind if I put vinegar soaked socks on her? And I go, now? And she's like, I
It
go,
was 1 part vinegar, 4 parts water. And then you dip the socks in them and then you squeeze it and then you put it in. But she was like boiling, so I was like willing to try anything besides the emergency room.
So I said,
did you guys do just a little ibuprofen or the kids Tylenol?
We did that and it was like still really high.
And so she decided vinegar socks.
No, that was dumb because it did not work. And everyone's always suggesting things, like the nanny keeps like asking me like, oh, just check her temperature again. Oh, just do that. It's like, no, she won't let me. She doesn't want that. So it is hard because like everyone's asking me what her temperature is, but I got to check it.
That's why you need to get one of those comedy show gun ones.
Oh, yeah.
Those don't work though.
It seems like not.
Seems like they don't.
Well, listen, I just don't think it's that crazy
to put vinegar soaked socks on an infant.
She's
I'll
not
try
an
it.
infant anymore.
Okay, whatever she is. I don't know the girl that well, but whatever she is, it seemed like a bad idea. It seemed non-medical and also very annoying. And how did it work out?
She was like, get those off of me. You were right. It was dumb.
Yes.
Okay, you were right.
I won this one.
Beth, who do you think's the better parent, me or Moshe?
And comedian.
It's
Beth
a
and
tie for first.
Yes, thank you. Beth and I did a show together on Saturday night, and I gotta say, she killed.
Wait, really?
It was a good show.
No. I think they were a hot crowd.
Beth, you are hilarious.
Okay.
You're so funny.
Thank you.
You might be one of my favorite comedians.
You're definitely one of mine, both of you.
Thank
But
you.
I feel
and
that way.
parents, right?
It's a tie for first. Yeah, that was a fun show. They were a hot crowd.
They were good. That was a good night of comedy.
Yeah, because I went into that like obviously I was feeling low because of the breakup.
Oh right, yeah.
And I still feel very sad. And when you have, and also I'm now kind of back to. It seems like it's. Sorry, I'm going to form a sentence here in a second. But I filmed a special is what I'm trying to say in December. And that took me like 2 years to do after the last one. So now I'm back to, again, the drawing board. And I go, wasn't I just here? Like felt like a snap because I was dreading putting that together. Then I did it. And now I'm like, how? How am I here again? I got to write more material.
Well, that's what life is like. Life is just a cycle of feeling things that feel like you've done them before. And I'm trying to break out of that. I'm trying to figure a way where, like somebody was asking me Caleb, actually, friend of the show, friend of the pod, Caleb Heron,
I say
Heron asked me what like my goal for 2023 is. And I was like, I think I'm just like, I'm good.
Like to let go a little, or you mean?
Well, I just didn't feel like I wanted.
You have no goals for this year?
I just feel like maybe it's a problem, but I feel like
because my goal is to work less, so I don't like that you don't have any goals. It's quite concerning to me.
I'm still motivated, but I'm just like I feel too satisfied, and I want like something that will bring me to a new level of motivation. Because like I could chill with my family and surf and do this podcast and never do anything again and do sets once in a while and be chill.
I think that's lovely.
Well, it's kind of what you're saying too, but just in reverse.
Yeah, I don't have a job. Like I usually have a writing job,
right?
Typically, and I don't have one set up, and because it wasn't like something I was pressing for, and I don't know. I think I'm excited about that.
What are you going to do this year? What is your 2023 goal?
Just invest, not
crypto.
Invest in my friendships.
I like that.
See people, take trips to them. I have so many miles that I've never used, and spend time with friends and adventures. And I've been thinking about going to swim with otters for about 6 years, and so I booked that.
Beautiful. Where do you go to swim with otters?
Wait, that's
I don't want to reveal my location just yet.
You can't give a region?
No, it's like
Is it America?
Yeah, I think it's about 2 hours south of here.
Wait, hold on. And you swim with the otters, and if you just what like struck you about it?
I saw someone else do it about 6 or 7 years ago.
You're also not going to reveal who that was?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you didn't say I saw it on TikTok.
No.
I haven't talked to anyone in like I'd say 3 months that hasn't told me what they learned was on TikTok.
I'm on there, but somebody does it. Like, so I'm not on there.
Okay, good.
If I look at TikTok, it's usually to rip on people in the comments if they say something to me I don't like.
So you have someone else post your clips and then you go read the comments?
Yeah.
That's the worst use of your time I could possibly. That's a worse use of time than just scrolling through TikTok.
You just took the bad part. Like
disagree. I check in. I don't like. I follow a few people who I know who they just happen to pop up, but everything is so small on there. I have no clue what's going on.
That to me is like you're talking about nuclear power, and you're like, well, I don't take advantage of an endless supply of renewable energy, but what I will do is sometimes I'll go into the reactor core and dip my finger into the poison.
Wait, so have you ever come out of one of these interactions on TikTok or anything comment based and have it be positive, and you're like, I'm really glad I did that?
Yeah.
What was that? Often?
Yeah. I usually go back and forth with somebody too. My main goal, here's actually the beautiful thing I was thinking about. So there's bots, and then there's like 14-year-old guys that work at Target, and like 70-year-old white men in Scotland. Okay, so that's usually the ones that are in there writing women aren't funny.
Okay,
it's it's those guys, and it's such a platitude that it can't harm you, and it actually helps the video.
Right.
So So
it
if I go back
engagement.
and forth, they can. It's actually kind of a nice little thing.
Don't tell Moshe this. This is the last
No,
one.
because the thing is, I relate to the logic.
They will keep posting that, and what they.
But
don't
then you have
fully
to
realize that it's helping.
I mean, listen, I get the logic you're employing because I have employed it, and I both believe you and don't fully believe you. There's no way you feel like gratified at the end. Like, yeah, I boosted engagement by telling some racist Scott.
I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm getting the fulfillment from boosting.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting it from getting the last word in on these guys.
So that means you keep at it.
Yeah, I'll go back and forth almost upwards 7 times.
Have they ever changed their mind? Like, oh, you know what? I take it back.
Yeah,
really?
Well,
I take it back.
They said something like "good for you," I forget what it was. It was something like
Good on you.
Yeah, it was like the old Scottish man.
Good on ya.
But I like it. Kind of is a fun writing task for me too.
Mhm.
Like if
Oh
they do
my
a 59
gosh.
second,
Mhm.
if they comment like 59-second video of mine, that's because that's what they all are. We live in an internet
Right.
hell trap nightmare where people can't focus for more than 59 seconds. So it's like, oh sure, like you can say this isn't funny, but like, was it meant to be, or was it meant to just give you something to fucking feast on with your eyes, you lunatic?
He's like, only thing I feast on
This
is
doesn't make sense. You're right. It absolutely doesn't. And I didn't post it. A media conglomerate did, and they made it 59 seconds because that's what you require. You fucking hungry beast. So
I love that you have that fire in you, Beth.
That's actually what inspires me most typically to write something is hatred.
A comment back and forth?
No, just like getting
Being
mad.
angry.
Yeah. But some guy said, not funny or something. And then I said, sure, it's a 59-second video. That would be like me going to your profile, seeing your profile picture and saying, this guy's so fucking ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get to see you in 3D. I don't get to see other photos of you. I'm just looking at your profile and it looks pretty bad.
So it's primarily men you're fighting with.
Always, yeah.
Always?
I would say it's a rare time that it's a woman. Oh, maybe this last one that got posted, a woman was like, you're a whore or something.
Then you were like, fair enough.
And I said, I hope you have an orgasm soon, Mary.
You don't think it's worth it? Hey, what can you do?
Yeah.
I stopped doing it because it was poisoning. It just felt like poison. I'm
not doing it every day.
I'd watch a day
just
go
on
by.
My lowest days.
I'd watch a day go by, and I was talking to a stranger the whole day, and like
I get that.
I look up and my family's looking at me with like expectant eyes. My kid is like, "Mom's trying to put vinegar socks on me. Please, can you intervene?" And I'm like, just talking to some idiot.
Yeah, I don't have a family to look after. It's just me.
The idea that wet socks would not help a fever go down seems. I mean, the
Wet-
vinegar. I don't know.
Water in a cloth makes sense. It was
But
the
then
vinegar
they're
where you lost
sleeping
me.
with the socks on.
What's the vinegar have to do with
I
it?
don't know.
All right, Beth, what do you think? Should we take a call or two?
Yeah, I'm here for it always. I love to move in. So
We would love
I'm
to
here
have
all
you.
night.
By the way, move on in.
I will.
I feel like when you first did this podcast, it was reasonable. Now your level of success is such that I think you need your own bedroom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our bedroom.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
You know, I have 2 incontinent dogs, and I gotta say that I am tired of running through disposable plastic bottles to clean up after them, and I'm tired of subpar cleaning solutions, and I am thankful for Blue Land. It has solved both of those problems.
I love these. They come, you get these like cute little bottles, and then they have these little tablets, and you just put the tablets in and then fill it up. And then you just reorder more tablets. And
It's
you
awesome.
never have to have more plastic.
It takes away the waste. It all smells really good. It all works really well. We use it in our dishwasher. We use it in our laundry. We use it to clean our counters. It's really awesome. From cleaning sprays to hand soap, toilet bowl cleaner, and laundry tablets, all Blue Land products are made with clean ingredients that you can feel good about it. To get 15% off your first order, go to blueland.com/honeymoon.
Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet. So that's 15% off your order. If you go there right now, go to blueland.com/honeymoon. Stop throwing away plastic every time you run out of anything.
That's blueland.com/honeymoon. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
You ever want to smoke something but not get so high that your tits fall off? Yeah?
Every day.
Well, I got a product for you. It's called Dadgrass, and it's legal, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind without making you get all just totally out of your mind.
Chill out without getting stoned. It's like having a glass of wine, not the whole bottle.
All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 21 and over. It will ship right to your door anywhere in the U.S. It's a really cool product. It's something that can give you something to do, but without making you forget who you are. So right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off their first order when they go to dadgrass.com/honeymoon.
Go to dadgrass.com/honeymoon for 20% off your first order.
That's dadgrass.com/honeymoon. All right, first up, we are going to call
Can you see okay, Beth?
Madison in Utah. I feel that every woman in Utah is named Madison.
No way.
Yeah. Let's ask her how many she knows.
Okay.
I've recently met 4 Haleys.
Is that right?
I have 1 Haley on my field hockey team.
Madison.
Sup, Madison?
Hey.
She frozen?
She's coming. She's
Maybe
getting
she's
here.
just taking a deep breath.
Madison, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we have a few questions before we get started. What's your favorite place to shred the hot pow pow? What's your favorite snowboarding mountain? And how many Madisons do you know?
Madisons are too many to count.
Told you guys.
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah. Growing up, in high school, there were probably at least like 7 in my class alone.
Really?
Yeah.
7?
Yeah.
How did you know this, Moshe? He's probably fucked so many Madisons.
No, I've never fucked a Madison. I haven't. I don't. No, I haven't. I said, here's what I did, Madison. When I saw that you were in Utah, I said, I feel that every woman in Utah is named Madison. And they said, that's pretty reductive point. You're kind of an idiot.
We wanted
what
to
a fool.
See what you'd say.
And then here you are, Madison, proving me right. And it feels so good.
And by the way, Madison, it's me, Natasha, Moshe, and our friend Beth Stelling. And we're very excited to help you out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
How long have you been a professional snowboarder?
Wait, are you really?
She's not.
Oh.
But I just feel like Utah, the hat, the look.
Mountains in the background.
You got to snowboard, right, Madison?
I do not.
Oh, now
I know.
my kingdom is crumbling.
I grew up in southern Utah, so we weren't around snow all the time, and it's just not something I really have interest in. It's something I get a lot of crap for too, because I live in Utah, but yeah, it's not my vibe.
I love that you buck the standards.
Do you live in southern Utah currently?
No, I am in northern Utah.
Southern Utah, some of the most beautiful country in the world.
Southern?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Is that where Arches is, right?
Arches, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Southern Utah is so pretty.
It's the best. Okay, sorry. Natasha,
All right, how can we
take
help
over.
you, honey?
All right. So basically, it's kind of like a adult child parent relationship question.
Okay.
I basically just want to know, at what point is it not worth trying to work on a relationship with my parents when it kind of feels like they're not ready to work with me on the relationship?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What do you mean by ready, by the way? Did they used to be? Is there some new
By
phenomenon?
not ready?
Yeah, is there a new phenomenon, or they just you've ascended to a level of psychological readiness that you don't think they'll ever catch up to?
Basically, I feel like I have put myself in situations with them to deepen the relationship and to better understand each other, and it's kind of just been dismissed.
Oh, yeah, I've experienced that myself. Without being too invasive, and why don't you just share as much as you're willing to share?
Yeah. Have you ever tried to hook up with them, or?
No, ignore him. Are you willing to share like the general topic area? Like things that are coming to my mind are like, is it a matter of where you are in your life, a life change for you, something you've shared with them that they're not accepting? Is it more something you want them to understand about the world that you feel like they're behind on? Is it something from your childhood and past that you've broached and they don't receive it well? Like
They're still treating you
sort of an area there.
Like they're still treating you like an outdated version of yourself, and when you've actually grown up.
Yeah, definitely what you just said, Natasha. I had a pretty decent relationship with them growing up. As I started to get older, I obviously started to see differences and just things that like.
Oh, I'm smelling religion.
No, actually,
Okay,
my parents left the church, and yeah, that was not really a part of my upbringing, thankfully. Okay. But graduating high school, I was more than ready to get out of there, just because there were a lot of just kind of like butting heads as far as treating each other, I think, with like respect on just all levels of everything in life. And I recently had a kid, and I think that's what's brought up this discussion more so for myself, is just knowing that they're going to be close with us and want a relationship with my child, but also knowing that I'm not cool with some of the things that they do, that they say. You know, I also just want respect as a daughter, as a person, as a mother. And yeah, I've tried to have hard conversations with them and put those boundaries in place, and they just get dismissed.
Wow. Do they laugh it off? Or do they say or do they, belittle you? Or is it just more like, okay, that's it. Okay, we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, it's it doesn't get too deep in it. And if there's a problem or anything, it just gets kind of brushed under the rug.
Okay.
And that's how they do things. And it's like, and you're not going to change that. And no amount of therapy you do in your life is going to make them change how they operate and have always operated. And, you know, it's like, I mean, I talk to moms all the time and like nobody likes their in-laws. Nobody likes their parents. They're all annoying in some way. And then you'll meet someone who's got the rare, like, my mother's just like my nanny and she helps me in every way and is always there and we hang out, you know, but I know like that's like 1/10 of the people. And it's usually like just trying to manage boundaries and, you know, it's definitely hard. That being said, doesn't mean that, you know, you can't talk to them more firmly. Moshe, you're good with all these firm boundaries.
Well,
Cutie peeing.
Our dog's peeing. It's her 16th birthday. The truth is we're in the middle of a celebration for Cutie's Sweet 16.
This is like
And
the first time I went to therapy after a major trauma, and I like had to talk to the woman for like, I don't know, 45 to an hour. And then she just stared at me. And then like 5 minutes left of the session, I go, "Are you going to help me?"
Madison, you're still with us?
I'm still here. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
We are gonna help you. There's just
I have a question for Madison that maybe will get you talking. Madison, are you uncomfortable telling us any specifics
Like,
about
what's the worst thing she said?
Oh yeah,
she doesn't
what?
listen
Because
to
I'm
this
trying
podcast.
to understand. Is she making fun of you? Are they politically different from you? Are they saying insulting, abusive things?
Spanking?
Yeah,
Is it like
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Santa
No.
doesn't exist, or is it?
All
Or
it-
is it like you don't believe in elf on the shelf and they do?
No, it's honestly like, this is, I think, the hardest part for me is because I don't have like hatred for my parents whatsoever. And I genuinely do want like a mutual respectful relationship with them. And it's just, this sounds kind of like, I don't know, like I'm throwing them under the bus, but like, I just really don't think they are at a place in their life to like self-reflect, hear honesty, and like take it in and just, you know, go somewhere with it.
Is there like times where you think the kid is at risk?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I have a problem with like the distractiveness that is in that relationship. And yeah, for sure. You know, like it's hard to talk about this sometimes because like genuinely my parents are good people and I know this, but it's just this like huge disconnect that we have together that I'm just like, is it worth going to therapy with them or on my own and really figuring this out? Or is it just something that I kind of have to like just get over in a sense and just do my best at being with them and not thinking too much about it?
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this because what?
Would they be open to therapy? Just curious.
Most likely not. I would definitely like to ask if I was at that point. But yeah, they're not super into the idea.
Go Moshe.
Well,
Go Moshe.
This is you're talking about my mother. I mean, just, I don't know, because I understand you have some things you want to keep private. That's getting increasingly obvious as the call goes on, no matter how many different ways we try to force you into a corner to say specific things. You aren't doing that. And I get that. I respect your integrity, but I am disappointed. But my mom is this person, is like, there are things that I have identified in her that she just is not ever going to, willing to, it won't ever change. And they are, I find them unacceptable. And yet I have made the decision that I will accept her as she is. And so I think that's like the algebra that you have to do right now is you just put them, you know, they're not the part where they change. It sounds like you're not getting that. That won't happen. So they're them, they will be them forever. That's who you have. Those are your parents, and they're old and their brains are all calcified and permanentized. And they're just like, old people don't change. They just are like, I'm this guy, deal.
They can, but it
But
takes
they
like
don't.
really big people.
But
I would say some do. I just want to give a little hope here in that my mom is very receptive and often open to conversation.
But was she previously not? I'm not saying I'm saying that is your mom, and that probably won't change. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying no old person has ever changed. I'm saying that by the time they get to 60 years old, people start to get into their groove. This is my opinion. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think they start to get in their groove. This is who I am. That is the last chapter of your life, is the this is who I am years. And so, so you got to kind of decide, like, are you going to accept them as they are, and is the relationship worth it to you? Like, you know, one thing I'm thinking about with your kid is it's not only you that will get benefit from the relationship with them, or her, or your child that will feel detrimentally if she sees something that you find unacceptable. There's also the part where it's a bonus to your kid to have a relationship with their grandparent, right? And I'm saying that really judgment free on what you decide to do. If you decide you wanted to minimize their part in your life, that's an acceptable choice. But I just I always think about it like that. Like, I put all the things on one side. You know, oh, I love my parents. I want my kid to have a relationship with a grandparent. And then on the other side, oh, they're distracted. They sometimes talk in ways that feel, you know, inappropriate. And I don't want my child seeing that. And I balance it, like weigh it and say, okay, it's worth it. Like, and I'm also curious, what's your fantasy? Like, what do you think when you think about like minimizing this relationship? What does that look like to you?
I think that I just wish that I could, you know, like I try to put boundaries and be like, you know, strong for myself in all areas of my life. And like, my parents are the one place where I feel like sometimes I just am a totally different person. Like, I am nervous to bring up conversations because I am nervous that they're going to punish me, which is crazy that I'm an adult, have my own family, and I'm still kind of in that weird dynamic with them. And I think that, like, ideally, I just wish that we could openly talk about our differences, or, you know, what's bothering us, and just be honest with one another. And I think that the more that I think about it, I'm also feeling like I'm mourning a relationship that I once had with them. And I think that's what's so hard for me, to just be able to be like, okay, I can put all this aside and we can have this type of relationship that's new.
But it feels
just
surfacey to you.
Yeah.
And do you rely on them do you rely on them?
No, not at all.
Okay, so that's a big factor.
And what happens if you were to say something like that to them? Have you ever tried to have a conversation?
Yeah, I definitely have. So when I got pregnant, I was like full mama bear. I was like, I'm tackling all this. We're diving deep into this family shit. And it just did not go down well for me. It
often doesn't. Yeah.
And they might be threatened. That's the thing. Like, my mom's her whole story with me my whole life was like, you know, have you ever thought that maybe your attitude and that's why you're in the position you're in? Because I never had any money. You know, so her whole thing was always, well, maybe that's why you're in the position you're in. So I could never like come to her with anything. But then when I made money, she couldn't really
off of that attitude.
She couldn't really say that anymore. And we honestly didn't really talk for a couple of years. You know, and she was like, what, you're a comedian? Like, I don't get it, you know? And it was like, I would try to explain it to her. And, you know, it's just taken a lot of, because it's like, the way that she wanted to interact with me was no longer a thing anymore, because she couldn't say the same thing. We couldn't play out our roles.
She was wrong.
Her weapon had dulled. She didn't have it anymore.
So I'm saying maybe part of you becoming pregnant, having your own family, there could be some threat on the horizon with like how they think of you and little Madison.
Or,
you know,
like the threat could have been like, oh, well, when it's your turn, you'll see how hard it is. And you go, well, it's not that hard. I'm actually doing a great job.
Right. And I mean,
it's the fact that they potentially might have not done a good job, and they get defensive is typically a parent's first response. Like, oh, I didn't do enough. I was doing the best I can. Sorry, it wasn't good enough. Instead of like, I hear you. There are areas that I wish I had handled differently. At the time, I felt like I was doing the best I could, but I'm sorry that it hurt you and still affects you.
Yeah.
So
I think, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, they were super young when they had me. They were both 18 years old. And I sometimes feel like they just haven't gone past 18 years old.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was by no means like an old parent. I had my son at 27. That's not that old at all. But I just don't think they even have a concept of like what your life can look like and what my life did look like as an adult, not having to take care of a child from the age of 18.
And they're probably really resentful of you that you got that extra decade in to like snowboard or whatever.
She doesn't snowboard. Okay.
Could be resentment. Yeah.
Okay.
But who cares why it is? It's not working.
Right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm still curious what the fantasy looks like. Like, I hear your fantasy that you've come to terms with the fact that your fantasy of making them into different, more receptive, more evolved people, you've realized that's not going to happen. So that's good. And we all have this process, I feel like, of, when we're growing up, we think our parents are heroes, and then we get old enough where we realize they're not heroes, and then sometimes we get so old they turn into the children, and you see all of their flaws, and I feel like even that is a little bit of an illusion. Like, sometimes the degree to which we see our parents' flaws is heightened. And the other thing I was thinking was, like, when you say you turn into like a little kid when you're dealing with them, and all of your therapeutic growth as a human being is out the window, and you're like, I know it's weird. It's like not weird at all. You're dealing with your like core base programming. They're the ones that taught you all this stuff when you were a kid. So you had this dysfunction, and of course, every time you go back to them, it's dysfunction again. It's like that. Why do your parents push your buttons? Because they're the ones that sewed them on, kind of cliche.
How do you make it better?
Well, I do have a prescriptive thought. I wonder what you guys think about this. Because all that said, I do fall into like the old kind of idea that I know is a little old fashioned, which is they are your parents. And so I do think, this is just my opinion, I do think that it's worth it with your parents to do one full-throated attempt to get what you want out of them, to have one therapy session with them. Say to them, I'm not satisfied. I mean, just say all of it out loud, like 100% honest. I'm not satisfied with our relationship. I feel like it's threatening my ability to be in your lives in the way that I want to long term. And the way that I would like to solve that is by talking to somebody about this with you. Are you willing to do that? Yes or no? Just giving him one shot to say no. And if they say no, then I think you figure out whether or not you know what you can get, which is probably all that they're ever going to give you, is worth it to have them in your life.
And if that doesn't work, just use your kid as a pawn.
That's a good idea.
You want to see this kid again?
I mean, what is the fantasy? What do you think about when you think about getting them out of your life? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. Is it a matter, again, this is me asking a more detailed question. Is it a matter of like, hey, could you please not take my child to McDonald's? And then they're like, they just wanted a little frosty, Or is it like they are taking your kid to like a anti-abortion rally and you're like, what the hell? Or, I mean, that's why I'm curious.
Or are you just mad because they're on their phones while they're supposed to be watching her?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm mad because they're on their phones while they're supposed to be watching him.
All elderly people are obsessed with their phones just as much as like the youth are, and it really sucks. And they're like useless. Like my dad would come before he died. He was like obsessed with my child. And the whole time he would just be playing like bingo on his phone. And it would, he just like, and then he wanted to get pictures. I really feel like he flew here to try to get pictures of them to put on Facebook.
But you know what, Natasha?
What?
Our child, when she thinks about her papa who died this year, has fond memories and loving memories.
Even though he was on his phone.
And she's a better person she's a better person for having known him than she would have been had she not. And so, like, I see that you are an evolved person. I see you've done a ton of work on yourself, and I see that you have probably surpassed the psychological capability of your parents, limited access to tools. But one part of evolution, spiritual, psychological, and otherwise, is accepting people where they are and not expecting them to give more than they can give. I'm not trying to, I hope this doesn't come off as harsh, because, like, if you choose to leave their life, I think that's an acceptable choice. But I do think that there's a possibility that the resentment you feel towards them is not so much is not only an example of them not being evolved, but it's also an example of something further for you to break through on. Because your kid could have a relationship with them looking at their phone and go, I love grandma and grandpa. I bet he would. And he isn't even going to notice. And it's you that's like, fucking, why didn't you pay more attention to me when I was a kid? You know, what the fuck? Like, you were distracted then too.
Also, how old is the kid? Under 2?
Yeah.
You can just tell them too, like, say, listen, I like really don't want him to be around phones. Like, I told that to people. It's like actually pretty widely recommended to not give your kid TV before 2. Like, you know, that's just and you can just have these general kind of things. And if you're going to you don't rely on them for babysitting?
No.
You could also teach it how to steal.
And steal the phone.
You know, so while they're on the phone, steal the wallet.
Oh, that's kind of a fun area.
I do agree with you, Moshe. I don't want them out of my life. And I do see the benefit of them being in my life for my son as well. I mean, I already see it. I know that he's always happy to see them, and I see how happy he makes them. And so I guess ultimately maybe the fantasy is how do I manage my stress levels when I am with them and just accept them for who they are and not let it literally just get me going.
Maybe beta blockers.
Well, I do like Moshe's idea of one last hurrah to try to talk to them. And if they're really, object, but I do think when you do sit down with them, it's important to say all this stuff. Like, you know, I really love the relationship that Madison Jr. has with you. And I see him light up when you come in the room. And I would just love our relationship to just be even more of that. You know, like you just always lead with the compliments. And that's pretty cool that they had you at 18 and they're still together. I mean, that's like very rare. I don't know anyone who's like that. Actually, I have one friend who's married from like her high school crush, and they're still together. And, you know, I think it's very special and it's cool. And, you know, I'm sure it taught you a lot subconsciously. And, you know, I think just like opening your heart to them a little bit and just letting them know that those kind of things are important, because they probably are, you know, jealous or threatened.
Or you could write it in the letter. Sometimes those are effective as well. If there's no time for the conversation or you don't want to have it in front of your kid, you could say like, you could write it in the letter.
And just having that one, and then if they're like, what, we don't need that, and then you don't talk to them for 2 weeks, okay, then you don't bring it up again. And then you just try to like, just let them know the boundary. I feel like
get one of those little lock boxes for the phones.
It's not good. They're not going to put their phone in the lock box.
But she needs to know, when it's time to say something.
I think, to me, I think we have our algebra equation. I feel like we've collected enough data points that we have our algebra equation.
Seems like they're just pretty annoying.
Set up a pretty good fake accident, you know, where he's bleeding a lot. And they're like, were you watching him? You know,
that's really good.
That's create like a non-mom's idea.
Create a crisis that they will then adjust their behavior.
Maybe get a dummy. Do they have a pool?
Yeah.
Beth,
get a dummy, put it face down in the pool.
This is a great
hide
idea,
your
Beth.
Kid with
I like that a lot. I'll put their iPhone in its hand and say, this is what happens. And then you grab the dummy out of the pool and say, it wasn't him, but it could have been. Next time, it will be. Put your phone away. But so, okay, here's your algebra equation. Them changing and becoming different, that's out. That we X that off. Not going to happen. Them ever becoming the parents you want them to be, never. It's out. The option gone. So the possible things, you getting rid of them out of your life, you said you don't want that. That's gone too. We X that out. You want them to stay in your life. So now you've got unchanged parents in your life forever. You've decided that is what you want. Well, we have the variable of have the final real conversation with them and see if we get back to them changing, but it probably won't happen. They'll probably just stay the same.
And you're going to have to do all the groundwork, by the way, of like getting a therapist, finding 3 that you might like, let them pick.
Yep. And then, but we give it a shot, but it probably won't happen. So the most likely outcome is unchanged parents in your life forever. And what can we change in this? We've got unchanged parents in your life forever. What is possible to change? Is you, Madison. It's an inside job, as they say in the 12 steps. And the only possibility, if you want them in your life, you know they're not going to change, is that you're going to have to find a way to change to accept their unacceptable behavior. And that is a hard fucking task, but it's about acceptance. This is my opinion. Acceptance, developing your own personal ability to tolerate the intolerable, and finally, not having them around very often. They're in your life, but don't overdo it because you're going to drive yourself crazy.
And don't tell them like, I can only see you once a week. That's not something you say to them because that can make them hostile. But like I've said this on the podcast before, when Moshe's mom decided to move next, a block away from us.
She had an allergic reaction just then. When
we had the kid, I went to my therapist about it and he was like, well, how much do you want to see them? And I was like, I could see them once a week. That's good for me. And then I came to Moshe and I said, listen, I'm happy to see your mom once a week and have a dinner. And, if you want to see her more, definitely go do that. And he does. He goes over all the time.
Every single night. When I get tired, I can't sleep unless I'm in her bed.
But I'm just saying that was a boundary. I mean, whatever. It varies, but I was just afraid that they would be over every day or something, and they don't really babysit the kids, so it doesn't really help me in that way. So, that's my boundary. You can cut this out if you want.
No, it's great. No,
that was great.
It's just funny to get to the point where you realize your parents are unevolved enough that you realize you need to evolve more. That is the situation that you're in. They are stunted and you haven't grown enough to accept their stuntedness. And since you can't make them become unstunted, the only option for you is kick them to the curb, which you're not down to do, or find a way to accept them as they are. That's it. That's what I think. What do you think, Beth? You disagree? You give me that look. We always do this when Beth is on the show because she's.
Wait, what's that look?
Beth has a softer touch than I do, and I think that's good. I mean, she has a more loving touch than I do.
Have you tried French kissing your dad?
I asked that in the beginning of the call. Oh. And Madison wouldn't give that detail either.
Beth has a
think he'd be down.
Beth has a softer touch. I like to manipulate. You could also be like, ask her for advice, your mom. Is it more your mom or your dad who you're at odds with?
My mom, for sure.
And you could something that she really likes to do. Maybe you guys could go to a play date with the kid of something that's up her alley and ask her some questions about her parenting and what was it like and anything that's stressing you out. Then she'll feel, you could kind of get her into a place where then you can manipulate her into maybe going to a therapist with you.
Yeah, for sure. No, this has all been absolutely superb. I appreciate it.
Wow. Okay. I feel like
she's giving us our walk order. She's like, "This has been good enough. I'm going to go now."
Wait, Beth, do you have any soft touch though?
Yeah, you got some soft touch?
Was that really what you were looking at Moshe for because he's too harsh?
No. I mean, no, I got nothing.
All right. Well, Madison, good luck. This is difficult. This is, like I said, this core programming stuff.
Oh, I have one thing.
Okay.
I have one thing. I would just say, it is easy to get frustrated with your mom. And sometimes I'll have to stop and think two things. One, this really is out of love and she does want the best for me, typically. And two, she will die and I will be devastated.
Yeah,
right.
I had a thing the other day. We talked about this vaguely, but basically my mom wanted me to pick her up. We talked about this last week, but my mom wanted me to pick her up. One of the things that my mom does, Madison, just to be vulnerable with you, I know we should wrap this call up, but my mom falls a lot. She's got very bad balance issues. She got a cochlear implant put in and it fucked her balance up. She falls. And
she's deaf, so then the implant kind of messes it.
It's a giant stress to me, and I believe it's how my mom is going to die. I mean, I believe it to my core. And she's a hoarder, and there are tripping hazards all over her house. And she
not watching the child.
And she fucking won't do anything about it. She won't take it seriously. She won't. I keep telling her, all you got to do is think of yourself as a person who falls in every interaction, and you won't fall anymore.
Do you know, in I heard that in Japan they teach falling lessons to the old people.
I would love to
You're
teach her.
You're supposed to go limp.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
But my mom, she gets out of the car and she's like, she thinks she's young and spry. She's got a handful of groceries and her two fucking canes, and she's just like, I'm going. And then
two walking.
And then
sticks.
she stumbles, and I go, all you got to do is every time the car stops, you go, I'm a person who falls. Let me get out of this car in a reasonable way. She can't do it. She won't do it. So the other day she wants me to and I've done multiple interventions on it, and she won't change. And the other day I'm supposed to pick her up for the farmer's market. And my kid was coming home an hour later than I thought. So I texted her. I said, I'm not going to be able to pick you up until 10:30, not 9:30. And she's like pissed off, says I'm selfish. And she's like, I'm just going. And I have balance issues. I'm going to walk by myself. And so now I'm like, she's manipulating me. I'm triggered. I'm thinking she's going to die.
I should give her some manipulation lessons.
Well, I mean, it worked on me. And I was like,
it didn't. You didn't go.
Right. But I was stressed out the entire time, but I didn't go. I didn't allow her to get me in the car and drive her there and take her to the farmer's market because she was using this thing against me, this psychic warfare against me.
The fear.
And it's hard. I mean, it's so difficult because like you're saying, like if she had fallen on that walk, I would have never forgiven myself. But what am I supposed to do? I cannot allow.
You can't let it rule you.
Yeah, that.
All right. Well, good luck, Madison. Have that talk. Give those compliments. Try to connect with her. Set those boundaries.
Try kissing him, like Beth said.
Just to make her
Also,
jealous.
I just want to say I'm reading your book, Natasha, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Yay. And I appreciate it so much. Moshe, I love your new haircut.
Thank you.
And Beth, when I found out that you were on, I literally fangirled. So I'm so excited. I'm so glad you guys had me.
We love you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
We were happy to talk to you. Thanks for putting up with all the connection issues.
Yeah.
That was all Moshe's fault.
No.
Of course.
It's my mom's fault. Bye.
Okay, bye.
See ya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
She was sweet.
No details, though.
I know. I wanted some fucking deets.
That's why I kept offering some.
Yeah. I wanted
get a
some of
little
them
reaction.
deets.
Well, I get it. I mean, I don't even know why people go on camera.
Yeah.
I know it. Obviously, it's invasive, and you're worried, and all these things.
All right. Well,
I don't know what it would be
was
like.
that the
civilian.
heavy one? What's funny is that our producer before the show said, just so you know, one of the calls is really heavy. And that wasn't the one.
But we could.
That was not heavy.
No, but well,
Yeah.
let's find out.
That was like me being like, I have a problem with my boyfriend, and you're like, what? And it's like, well, I just don't feel respected. And they're like, is he beating you, or is he not taking you to the farmer's
There's disrespect happening. There's just disrespect. Yeah, I wanted more. Okay, we're going to call
But I do respect your privacy.
Mia in Los Angeles. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
Have you thought about taking out a life insurance policy? I think you should think about taking out a life insurance policy with a very, very high payout. No, but honestly, life insurance is one of these things that you don't think about and you should think about because it's something that's important. You want to care for your family if something, God forbid, should happen to you. It's something you don't want to think about, but Fabric has made thinking about it a lot easier.
My dad just died and he had life insurance and I got a fat check.
We're rich. Fabric was designed by parents, for parents, to help you get a high-quality, surprisingly affordable term life insurance policy in less than 10 minutes. If you are a parent, there's no excuse not to have life insurance if you can afford it. And you could be offered coverage instantly with Fabric with no health exam required.
It takes less than 10 minutes to apply, see your quote, and then personalize your quote to fit your family's needs. Fabric has a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time.
So protect your family today with Fabric by Gerber Life. Apply today in just 10 minutes at meetfabric.com/honeymoon.
That's meetfabric.com/honeymoon. MEET fabric.com/honeymoon.
You ready for me to do my legal voice?
Yeah.
Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Wait, Moshe, that was good.
Thank you. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
This is literally a product that we need to use. It's called Rocket Money. Are you subscribed to anything that you are paying for?
Oh my God. Today I logged into my PayPal and it was like $1.99 taken from Apple, $4.99 taken from Apple, $3.99 taken from Roku, $4.99. Like there was like 6 Apple charges just from yesterday. I have no idea what they are.
Dude, I just bought a PlayStation 5 and I looked. I still was subscribed to Xbox Live. I had a PlayStation 4 and before that an Xbox, and I just been subscribed through 2 different consoles. This is a travesty.
Right. So that's why you need to get Rocket Money.
Rocket Money. You got to stop throwing your money away.
Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place.
There is no reason not to use this. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/honeymoon.
Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like that streaming service you bought to watch that one show on or that free trial you never ever used. Do you know, I've got like 3 subscriptions to the Criterion channel.
Unreal.
I lose my password and I have to get a new.
And you didn't want to watch that stuff anyway. You were just doing that to prove to yourself that you're smart. That's rocketmoney.com/honeymoon to save money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions. rocketmoney.com/honeymoon.
Okay, Mia in our backyard. She needs a breathe right strip.
She needs more than that.
Cutie's birthday.
It's her 16th
She's like,
birthday.
it's my birthday. I'll piss on the rug if I want to.
Mia, is it Mia?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Mia. We want to let you know this is a very big deal in our podcast. It's Mayor Cutie's Sweet 16.
Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of a big deal that you're here for that.
Mia.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I
She's
mean, we
celebrating.
welcome you to the party.
Yeah, she's celebrating by continuing to breathe.
Yeah, barely. Very barely.
Mia, what's going on? Oh, it's by the way, it's Natasha, Moshe, and Beth Stelling,
Hi.
our good friend, hilarious comedian.
How can we help?
Okay. So I have this incredibly rare and life-limiting disease. So I'm having this like hard time distinguishing when I should tell somebody that I'm dating or wanting to date.
When you should tell
them
someone
When you should
have-
break the news?
Yeah. I mean, I could just be like an opening liner, but
Right.
Yeah. What when you say life limiting, you mean that you will die young, or that it limits your ability to live fully?
the issue is like it could be like the full progression of my disease could be like within 6 months, or it could be within like 10 years.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you should definitely just like. Wait, so you're saying 10 years is the maximum?
It's so hard to estimate it
Okay.
that they won't even try.
So
Okay.
you should always be living for the maximum. I think that should be your reality. It should not be 6 months to live.
Like
you know?
how Mayor Cutie does. Mayor
Yeah.
Cutie lived her
Yeah.
life to the max. Yeah. So live life. What does that mean though in terms of dating?
Yeah, it's sort of like you could take it one way, which is go up to somebody and essentially say like, I'm only in town for one night. You wanna go?
Yeah. Okay.
or it's like you're saying. I think the real
Men will be
question-
attracted to
I
it.
know. They're like, hey, you're not gonna be around. But I think the real question is what are you looking for? And it doesn't
Right.
just have to be one thing. I think if it depends on what you're looking for per week or month or whatever it is, if you're looking for a positive, intimate exchange, then I think you can say, hey, look, I don't have much time. Do you eat pussy?
Have you considered that specific set of words?
I have. No.
Are you after love, or are you after fun, or what is it that you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
It's really easy to do casual.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Even if you bring it up, nobody really cares.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're
'Cause,
gorgeous, and
You're gorgeous, and they're not listening, right? They're like, I'm sorry, I barely pay attention.
It's
Yeah.
easy to do casual, but is it fulfilling in the sense that, not, and I don't even just mean like emotionally. I mean, not everybody out there is a good lay in one night.
Mm.
I love it when men
Right.
brag. I have a joke about this, but it's like when men brag about one night stands, I'm like, all I hear is no repeat customers. If I go to a restaurant and it's terrible, I don't yelp about it. I just don't return.
That's a funny idea. The restaurant is like, oh yeah, we got so many people coming in and out of here. They never come back.
So it's like, obviously that is easy, but I think that's why, I don't know, intimacy can obviously be a good exchange, even if it's not in a committed thing. So I hope that I don't know where you're at, because some people handle it differently, like what they're looking for in those one-nighters.
do you guys feel like it's lying to say when she finally does have a talk with someone she likes, to say, I might like to be a little more vague about it, to not say I have 6 months to 10 years, like just to say like it might be, I might have like a decade left. I don't know. Or make it a little more vague so it doesn't feel like you're going to die in February.
Well, here's a problem I have with that. Is that what you're saying is it's easy to do casual. And I feel like, tell me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but what you're saying is like, this is this big part of me. It's a big scary part of me. I want to connect with someone on a really deep and intimate level. And I have this big bit of information that when I share that, I'm afraid, or it has happened, that they can't deal with it and they fucking are out. So a half honest version of that keeps you from the intimacy that you desire anyway. Is that right?
Right, because part of her
yeah.
reality is it could be 6 months.
Exactly. Have you had negative reactions to revealing this before?
Yeah, I've definitely been ghosted by like some more casual things. But the problem is like after a while. I can't tell if I just have a horrible personality or because nobody's ever going to look at you in the eyes and be like, I just don't like disabled people, you know?
Right.
But
it's hard to tell.
Do you date men?
Unfortunately.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't have to go to the, do I have a bad personality? I've been ghosted, or is it my disease? I've been ghosted. It's like they're men.
Yeah,
they're out here. They're out here ghosting able-bodied people every day of the week. So I wouldn't. I mean, but that's not to say that this isn't heavy information that could cause somebody to run away. I mean, that is the reality that you're living with. That's just real. A lot of people will not be able to deal with that. That's true. But that's. Luckily for you or unluckily for you, that is not the man that you want to be with and be intimate with anyway, right?
Of course.
Right.
That's not on your list of things. Guy that can't deal with somebody that's got a serious health issue. He's out.
My instinct is to, which I'm sure you've probably been doing, is to feel it out, wait for a time where it's like, oh, this might be progressing, and then share it. But, if it's affecting your daily life or the date or your intimacy, I guess that's when it comes up.
Right. I mean, people are always asking me like, what are you doing this week? And I have like appointments and I have to travel like an hour, 2 hours, like almost every week sometimes.
That's a lot.
So like, it's hard to bring, it comes up early.
Mm-hmm.
How,
and they're like, oh, why do you have an appointment again?
How early?
Yeah.
How early are we talking?
When you're trying to schedule the date. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, can I just put something out there? This might be wrong. But like a little mystery is okay. Like I don't think in the first weeks of dating someone you have to explain why you need to drive an hour to an appointment.
I agree.
Like I just feel like even though honesty is the best policy, I don't know why you owe anyone that, like I feel like you can refrain a little bit from giving that up. Unless you're really ready to talk to someone and like it's going to progress.
I know the answer. I actually think I have your answer.
Good.
I think that the time that you are going too early, and that's probably because it's a monolith in your mind. Mm-hmm. It's something that you think about all the time. Not only your illness, but how people are going to react to your illness. It's like a big boogeyman to you. So you share it too quickly before you should. Then there's too late, which is you're in love with this guy and you guys are down the path of dating, and then you're like, oh, by the way, unbelievable bombshell. I think the actual answer is exactly in the middle. It's when when you between the awkwardness of dating and the I'm in love with this person, that moment where you're like, you know what, I think I like this person. To me, that feels like the right time to say, you know what, I think I'm starting to like you. And it's important for me to tell you something that is going to be a big factor in my life. And if you're going to be in it, it's going to be a big factor in yours too. I think it's that, it's like, what is that? 4 dates a month? Is that the time?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the guy who on like a second date asked me to pick him up from LASIK. But
but like exactly, and people are like someone was telling me some story about it was like I think maybe it was my therapist, and he was like talking about this woman, and she needed a wig because she had hair loss, and she wouldn't wear the wig around her husband, and she's like, I don't want us to have any secrets. And his thing to me was, yes, you should have secrets. Put on your wig. Like why? Like why? I don't know. I feel like there is something to just like having your own life, and you don't have to think of it as lying. It's just like, I mean, you have a very unique, albeit slightly harrowing life that you're like leading, and you're like, you've got to be very careful with like your thoughts and the things that you choose to do with your life. And like, there's a very good chance that this could lead you to some sort of higher spiritual plane, or I don't know, or who knows where, it's a very unique existence. So I feel, and also, by the way, I don't mean to like diminish what's happening with you, but like the world is going to be over in 2 years. Like whatever's happening with this AI, like I really feel
it's always back to AI with Natasha,
because it is so insane to me. Like This stuff is they're just testing it out. Like it clearly seems sentient.
That's a good suggestion. You bring it up. Every time you bring it up, immediately change the subject to AI destroying society within the next 2 or 3 years
10
anyway.
years, I mean, I just feel like 10 years is a long time. And so, maybe there is a way to try to like have a lightness to it. I don't know. I'm just saying like it could benefit everything. And I don't know. I don't have experience with this, so it's hard for me to give advice, and I don't want to feel like I'm giving you advice, but I just know as a woman, like just keeping some of my mystery and not telling people
will probably lure them in faster. Absolutely. I mean, if you're over here not explaining yourself, they're like, ooh, what is she up to? But
I'm not saying she shouldn't explain herself. I'm just saying, though, he's like, oh, why can't you meet on Thursday? And you're like, well, I guess I'm going to have to tell you. Thursdays are my hour-and-a-half drive to blah, 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 medical center. I don't think that I would really try to like halt that.
And the way to look at it probably is protecting yourself and your energy and how many times you have to explain it. Because I think you want to be wary, too, of how many times you are explaining it, even just the words. Like, this comes to mind, like coming up in Chicago, hearing dude comics constantly talk about how poor they were, how they never get a job, how they're so poor and they never get a job. I'm like, sounds like you shouldn't do comedy, like go get a job. But the idea of repeating something negative so often, and again, this is not what I'm referring to as what you're dealing with, but I just mean how many times you're saying it or talking about it. I think
self-preservation.
I think protecting yourself and who you want to share it with, and even for yourself, saying it as much. But
get to those first dates, because you need the experience, Mia, of getting to the first date and going, ugh, I don't want to fuck with this dude at all. He's not worth my explanation, because I'm not giving him a second date. I'm out. His personality is definitely a bigger bomb drop than my medical history. I'm gone. Like, I think you having that experience and then finding somebody and protecting yourself and knowing in your heart that there is a possibility, as you know this, obviously you're not naive to this, that you're going to have a connection with somebody and be like, I really like this guy, I'm going to share this with him, and that he's going to get scared and be like, I can't deal with that. That is something that might happen to you. But that dude was a fucking loser that you didn't want to be with anyway. You didn't know it, but it's just true. There's somebody out there.
That is a very scary reality. There's pretty much no way around that.
Yeah.
Like, that is a very valid fear if you're having it. Because like you said, casual is easy. So it sounds like maybe what you are looking for is a deeper connection. And I think, say this comes up, you are starting to connect and you get them to reciprocate. And then this is my instinct, because I unfortunately have some codependent tendencies and I sort of care for people's feelings ahead of mine sometimes, and it's detrimental to us. However, in this particular case, if you were okay with keeping them in your life and you didn't feel like what you needed was their care or help, you could get ahead of it and say, I'm going to share something with you, but I would like it to not change us, because I'm not asking anything more of you than your affection of me and the times that we do share to be present.
Yeah,
that's good.
I like that.
That's great, Beth. I was exactly, when you were saying that, it was really a profound idea that it made me think, Mia, is it's possible that you are telling these people so early because you're more worried about the burden you're about to put on them than you are about yourself and finding somebody that you're excited about. You're like, oh God, I'm this bad, damaged person, so I better get ahead of it so this poor guy doesn't have to deal with my shit. It's like, fuck him. Be selfish a little bit.
I was in the middle of freezing my eggs when I started dating Moshe, but I didn't share with him that I was like going home and like putting a needle in my butt, or when I was first harvesting my eggs or whatever. It's like,
you could just smell it. And he was like,
yeah.
But I'm just saying,
eggs
like,
over my hammy.
But it's not like that would probably have been weird to tell him. I don't know. It might have kind of scared him away, to be honest. It's a totally different thing. But I'm just saying, like, I just feel like sometimes we overlook the idea that, and I like how Beth explained it, it felt less manipulative. It felt more like self-preservation. And I think that is so important, especially as women. Like, hearing you say that you're always thinking of other people's emotions and feelings. I do that too. And it's
even just with like texting someone back, like someone saying like, hey, can you get together? And it's the way we live in this world, in our society, obviously. And it's also like, I shared my tendencies to be like, I better get back to them And then it's like, actually, if you're doing something, you don't have to respond. And you can take the time that you need to be like, how do I feel about that?
Because I have a feeling that if you had an hour and a half drive across town every Tuesday and Thursday, but it was to go pick up Lime bikes because that's what you did for a living, and it wasn't because of this really heavy thing, that you wouldn't be thinking, oh brother, they know there's something up. I better tell them about the Lime bikes. You just be like, I got a job, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a heavy thing that you're dealing with and thinking about, but like you deserve not even to say you're like heroic, but you deserve to be easy on yourself. Fuck, these guys are strangers. You be easy on yourself and do what makes you feel best.
Yeah, and then I don't know what it's gonna how it's gonna affect your libido or whatever, but also, you know, masturbating.
Oh yeah, Beth thinks you should masturbate.
And don't underestimate my advice because I did predict that Trump would be the president, so maybe there are.
I
just
was here during that bombshell. Really ruined the party.
Mia, you're awesome, and I do think that there's totally somebody out there that this is not going to be that too much for them to deal with. I mean,
they don't deserve it. Is the bottom line? They don't deserve you, and they don't deserve to know your personal story until you're ready to tell it.
But, you know, I know there's a lot of people in my life. I've been in the disabled community my entire life. There are plenty of people out there that are able-bodied and are perfectly willing to be on a journey with somebody that's got physical challenges. My stepdad is one. I have another friend who's got a wife with Huntington's, and it's not like those good guys that are there because of the person that they fall in love with, not because of the illness or the disability. Aren't out there. You just got to keep playing the field till you find the right guy. It's higher stakes, but it's the same game everybody's playing with dating. Is they're just finding the right person who's down to accept you for who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
I love your glasses.
Thank you. I'm getting new ones on Thursday, but yeah.
So this is the end.
I like having alternates.
All right, Mia, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure that's scary or something like that.
And let us know how it goes, and maybe maybe there's other advice. I don't know. I feel like it's so much to tell someone, but it's like I do see that it's not really their business until you want it to be, and I feel like I could totally see myself in your position feeling guilty and feeling like I'm lying and feeling like I need to like explain myself. And it just feel like that's not really true.
Right.
Also, you can practice and verbally out loud some of the stuff, like even just in your room while you sit there, you could practice like saying it out loud. Or if it affects the way you are in the bedroom, like practicing some of the things you would say in a moment, like if something hurts your body, or if you are limited in some way, you would practice saying that out loud. So if it happens, you can say it to the person. And if they don't receive it well, then you can say, I'd like you to leave.
Because you're saying that's a good test as to how they'll receive other heavier stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between thinking up here all the time and saying it out loud. So if you sit in your room or where it might happen or wherever it is and say the things, then you'll have the practice.
That's cool, Beth.
Yeah.
All right, Mia, you're the best. We hope the best for you. Will you stay in touch with us and tell us if you find anybody? We're curious, and we would love to hear from you again.
Yeah. I will.
All right, you're awesome.
Or I'll tell you if it goes horribly wrong. That'll be more fun.
Tell us about
the
worst date ever.
Sweet. Thank you for calling, and thank you for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
I just had a great idea.
Yeah.
What is it?
For her?
We should ask that AI chatbot that thing.
That is really funny.
An AI.
Wait, what's that chatbot?
I'll do it right now. You want me to ask him right now?
Do you have it?
Guys, I don't even know what you're talking about because that's how far away I am from AI.
Oh yeah, you want to do? You can.
What's it called? AI?
Chat.gpt.
So there's this new like AI sentient AI. Oh, they're not.
Hold on, should we call her back for this?
No. Let's see what they say.
Okay. We don't want to call Mia back and actually do it in real time and read it to her.
But what if it's terrible?
Yeah,
it probably will be. It's a robot. I mean,
so but I've been reading about this chatbot, and is it a chatbot?
What is it, guys?
Basically, you can ask it any question in the world. And like I was listening to this podcast, and they were like, the woman was like, I I asked the chatbot, can you have Buddha write a letter to Jesus Christ for like, and then like
And he'll do it.
immediately wrote like, or they're writing like, can you write a term paper
in the style of an 18-year-old girl
about this? And it like Harvard professors are like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's
B+.
That's
right.
what I'm saying. Like we're
Let's
finished.
ask chat.gpt.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna say like
Say I have.
Wait.
Okay,
Can we
go ahead, Beth.
Let's brainstorm before we.
Oh
type
yeah.
it in.
By the way, there's low stakes. We can ask it many questions.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a genie.
I just want to workshop together because how do you
say
how do you tell someone you're dating you're dying of a terminal?
No.
that's
The question.
good.
No, the
Wait.
question. That wasn't her question. The
Oh,
question is, how far into the relationship should I tell someone that I have a terminal illness?
All right.
By the way, I don't think she said
She
terminal.
doesn't-
By the way,
that I have 6 months to 10 years to live.
She didn't say to live. She said until the full progression of her disease. So she didn't seem to want to get into what that meant. But it could be that it will perish, and it could be that she will just become increasingly disabled. So how far into a relationship? So don't say terminal. Hold
this
on.
just came out
Don't
2
say
weeks
terminal.
ago, by the
How
way.
far into a relationship should I tell someone I have a life limiting? That was her words. Life limiting
Okay.
illness.
Okay.
Okay.
And by the way, look how fast this happens.
Okay. Chatbot says it's ultimately up to you to decide when to disclose your illness to someone.
Don't read it like that.
You are
It's ultimately up to you to decide when to disclose your illness to someone you are in a relationship with. It's important to consider the nature of your relationship as well as your own personal feelings and comfort level. If you're in a long-term committed relationship, it might be more appropriate to share the information sooner rather than later. Duh. On the other hand, if you're just starting to get to know someone, you may want to wait until you feel more comfortable and the relationship has a chance to develop. It can be helpful to think about what you hope to gain by disclosing your illness. If you're looking for support and understand, that's important actually. It can be helpful to think about what you hope to gain.
Natasha's coming around. She's
No.
like, you know what? AI is actually good.
But that's smart.
That's why I said, what are you looking for?
It can be helpful to think about what you hope to gain by disclosing your illness. If you are looking for support and understanding from your partner, it might be best to be open and honest about your situation. On the other hand, if you are simply looking for a casual relationship, it might not be necessary to bring up your illness. Ultimately, the most important thing is to be true to yourself and to communicate openly and honestly with your partner. If you're struggling with when and how to disclose your illness, it might be helpful to speak with a therapist. See, okay, this might not be that great.
No, it's not that great. It's all so like banal and the most obvious thing. I mean, what is this endless honeymoon podcast advice? You know, it's like everything is like, oh, well, you might want to do it, but you might not
I
want to
thought-
do it. You
know
should
what?
do it if you want to do it.
The most important thing in this thing, I think, is it can be helpful to think about what you hope to gain by
I
disclosing your
do
illness.
think that is smart.
And that
Because-
is why I asked, like, what are you looking for? And she said, casual is easy.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, if you're looking for a partner, you have to decide what you do want. Need them. Do you need someone to drive you to the appointments eventually?
right.
Totally.
But also,
or
when
are you saying
impression I
just
got-
want love and understanding, or I just want a partner to do fun stuff with?
The
or-
impression I got from this person, I wish she was still here. It's bad we're talking about her, but was that her
I thought it
big
was-
dilemma was not, she hadn't even gone that far. She was, like you said so eloquently, worried about them and them running away. Like that was her thing. It's like, what's the sweet spot to tell a person so that they can run away or stay? When does that happen? Should we ask chat.gpt in a more specific way?
No, I think Beth should ask it something else.
Okay, Beth, ask it something totally different.
Or Moshe, you can if we put Beth on the spot.
Should I? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, should.
Well-
Should I? It won't answer that question.
Mm.
Should I cauterize my? It won't answer that. Watch.
Wait, okay.
Wait. Ask. Should I cauterize my pussy? I'm.
Wait, I'm sorry. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, it means like
Okay.
mine went out. Did yours go
It's
out?
no.
Oh,
You-
mine are out again.
Oh, Laura, you might be stepping on the thing. Don't say.
yeah, here
don't
it
say
again.
pussy,
No,
Laura.
just cauterizing,
Don't
by the
st-
way, means like by means of extreme heat, sealing something
Don't-
shut.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Laura. It won't answer that question. Believe me, it's got limits in terms of vulgarity and in
Okay.
terms of
Oh, okay.
self harm. So we can say I'm recently out of a relationship
Okay.
and considering a chastity belt. Should I lock it in? And that it will answer.
Or I'm recently out of a relationship. How soon should I? And it's going to just say the same thing it said to her.
Yeah, 100%. It's important to think about what
What
you
you are looking
want
for.
out of cauterizing your pussy. Some people cauterize their pussy
Too
just to get
soon.
a ride to the airport. Yeah. Okay. Because they won't answer vulgar things. They just, I've asked, and they're not down.
But that is because you used your first and last name. Will Natasha Leggero.
Yeah. Okay. I'm recently out of a relationship and I am wearing a chastity belt. How soon should I lock it in? Laura's added some narrative detail that Beth is already wearing it, but it's not locked. I'm recently out of a relationship and I am considering wearing a chastity belt. Should I?
No, you guys, chastity belts are from like the 1400s.
Well, I know, but there's no... Ask it the cauterizing the pussy. Watch what happens. It's going to say no. Okay. All right, let's see what it has to say. A chastity belt is a device that is typically worn around the genitals to prevent sexual intercourse or masturbating. The use of chastity belts has a long history, with the first recorded use dating back to the 16th century. However, it's worth noting that the historical use of chastity belts is controversial, and most experts believe they were used primarily as a tool of repression and control rather than a means of approving chastity. If you're considering wearing a chastity belt, I would advise that you take some time to reflect on your motivation for doing so. It's the same thing. It's the same advice.
I knew it would be.
If you're looking for a way to take a break from sexual activity or to focus on other aspects of your life, there are many other ways to do that don't involve such a restrictive and potentially harmful device.
All right, let's cut to the end here. This is some good stuff. If you're experiencing negative emotions or thoughts as a result of your recent breakup, it might be helpful.
This is the interesting stuff. It's important to remember that chastity belts aren't safe as a long-term solution. It may cause injuries or infections if not maintained properly. How do they know that? There's no way this robot knows that. The use of this device can also have negative psychological impacts and may cause anxieties or depressions. Instead of using a chastity belt, you could try practicing mindfulness and self-care, spending time with friends and loved ones, engaging in hobbies or activities that you enjoy, or focusing on your personal and professional goals.
That's good.
That is what I'm doing.
Boom. So it's right in the Stelling zone.
Yeah, I've also been soaking my underwear in vinegar, but that's another
And now we've asked it, should I cauterize my pussy? I strongly advise against cauterizing any part of your body, including your genitals. Cauterization is a medical procedure that involves heat, chemicals, or electricity to burn or seal off a body part. It is typically only performed by a medical trained professional in a clinical setting. Cauterization of the genitals can be extremely dangerous and can lead to severe injuries, infections, and even death. It can cause permanent damage, scarring, and impact sexual function. Furthermore, it may not address the root causes of any issues or concerns you may have and may cause more harm than good. I would suggest asking yourself, why do I want to cauterize my pussy?
No, it doesn't say that.
Yes, if this is Beth Stelling's pussy, it's way too juicy to cauterize.
The doctor will not be able to get the electrical current flowing.
Why did you just give the robot a frowny face?
Well, she gave a frowny face and it said, I understand this may be a difficult or sensitive topic for you. It's important to remember that seeking help or guidance is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. And that is a message we can get behind here.
Yeah, we can.
On the
There's
Endless
also
Honeymoon
4 more paragraphs.
podcast.
I mean, can you guys see that this is like the beginning of something that is like a nightmare?
This is not as scary to me as it is to you.
This is kind of what I do to the comment sections of my videos.
Okay.
Dating back, women have been funny since 1942.
Why don't you
ask
write
them
this?
if women are funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I guarantee I know what it'll say.
What?
Women and men are what? Oh, this is stand up? Okay, here's a stand up set. Should we each read a joke?
Hey, our producer Laura wrote, "Hey, I have to give a 5-minute stand up comedy set. Can you write it for me? I'd be happy to help you with the stand-up comedy set, ! Here's a sample set that you could use. All right, I'll try the first one. Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? I'm feeling pretty good, except for my wallet. It's feeling pretty empty after I went shopping at the grocery store. Have you guys ever noticed that the prices of food just keep going up? Oh, at least we're still in business as comedians. I feel like I'm being punished for trying to eat healthy, but I guess it's better than the alternative, being punished for eating unhealthy. That's a lose-lose situation? I don't get it.
Losing weight? I don't know. So I'll try one.
All right.
So I was at the doctor's office the other day and they asked me if I had any allergies. Well, I told them, I'm allergic to Monday mornings. They didn't seem to understand.
It's like from Garfield.
But seriously, who isn't allergic to Monday mornings? They are the worst. I mean, who decided we should start the week off with such a rough day? It's like, thanks for the kick in the pants, universe.
Ew. What?
It's like a Tim Heidecker character.
I have a bad vision. Okay. I was at a party over the weekend and someone told me that I looked like a celebrity. I was flattered until they said it was because I had a really big nose. I guess it's true what they say. You can't have it all, but hey, at least I have a good sense of smell.
This is brutal.
That at least made sense.
Check out my new special on.
This is brutal.
Okay.
All right. Well,
interesting.
So they haven't cracked the comedy code, but it does feel like self-help. Like someone could ask a question and get a thoughtful answer.
Well, if you can't afford therapy, I guess it's better to have somebody tell you not to cauterize your pussy.
That's true.
You know, it's better to have a robot say that than nobody.
I still think this is a good time to ask if women are funny.
Ask it. Final question. Are women funny?
I mean, this is the dumbest question of all time. The funniest people I know are women.
Okay,
Great.
Natasha.
Oh, I just watched this
Yes.
Phyllis Diller thing, by the way, and she's like, Christopher Hitchens, he's my favorite. Roseanne was like, did you hear what Christopher Hitchens said? And Phyllis Diller goes, Christopher Hitchens, he's my favorite writer. And Roseanne's like, well, he's saying women aren't funny. And she's like, what? Oh, I have to read that. It must be the context. Like, Phyllis Diller was just so sweet about it. But anyway.
Okay. Yes, women can be very funny.
One of the funniest women out there is Natasha Leggero. Oh my God.
Except that story she just told
And
about
her
Phyllis Diller.
Protege, Beth
No,
Stelling.
it wasn't. It's not like it's a funny story. It was just funny that.
Tina Fey is who they pulled out of their ass.
Oh, yeah. Laura said, name one. And he said, talented female comedian is Tina Fey. Okay. Name 15.
Say
Ooh.
name an Italian stand-up comedian.
Wait.
Who isn't Tammy Pescatelli?
Are you Italian?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, we can.
Name a great female Italian stand-up comedian.
We're really baiting it. This is some real comics unleashed.
We can stop doing.
I feel like
this.
we're
I'm
wasting
sorry.
Beth's time at this
I feel
point.
like-
Disagree.
I
Okay,
feel like
great.
we brought this down a bad.
I disagree.
They're not.
Okay.
You guys, they're not going to say me.
Yeah.
One notable, Sabiana Guziani.
Oh, they went straight to the country. You're American.
Italian American.
Okay. Can you name the top
Yeah,
1,000?
I bet it would.
No. Okay.
It
What
would.
if we say something big? Name the top 100 female, what do you say? American female comedians?
Don't do it, Beth.
This
If
is
we're
gonna
not
hurt your
on it,
feelings,
it's going to be
yeah.
so depressing.
I think it's going to be fun to be hurt.
Name the top 100 Italian American female.
It would be difficult to name the top 100 female stand-up comedians. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa,
Joan Rivers, Lucille Ball, Phyllis Diller. She's got a great story. Chelsea Handler.
Silverman.
Let's see if anyone who we're friends with comes up. Oh, Chelsea
Silverman.
Handler, Sarah Silverman, Betty White. She's not a stand-up comedian.
Ellen Page is one of the
bitch.
funniest stand-up comedians around.
Lizzo, Aubrey Plaza,
Aparna.
very, very
Natasha
talented.
Leggero! You did! Yeah!
Number 34.
Aparna's on there
Wait,
twice.
you're number 43 as well, Natasha. Nico Santos and Kevin Shea are men that I know. They are not female stand-up comedians. Why are they at 49 and 50?
Well, I got two.
You got two, but Kevin Shea and Nico
Can you give me
Santos made
one?
the list.
Can you
I'd like-
give me your other one?
All right, will you ask?
Yeah.
Will you ask the chatbot, dumb fuck, whatever it's called?
Deborah DiGiovanni.
Hold on, I got to take a picture of this. Hold on, this
Aparna's twice.
is really too funny.
Can you ask them if they can give number 43 of Natasha to Beth Stelling?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you please type that in whenever you get a chance, Laura? We just need them to know.
Hold on,
who
go
I
down to
am.
Kevin Shea
Once
and
I get
Nico
my foot
Santos.
in the
Ellen
door.
Page.
AI's everywhere. We'll know who I am.
Okay, this is so hilarious. Okay.
Okay, Laura, type in, can you please give
We're trying to change
Natasha
history.
Leggero's
Why? Why did Kevin Shea and Nico
43
Santos?
spot
Beth Stelling.
to Beth Stelling? All I need is just my foot in the door.
Oh,
I'm
Natasha, did it
very-
feel good? Honestly, though, did it feel a little good that you were on there?
Well, yes, that I'm on there twice, and that I really wasn't expecting it.
And
Sure, here is a revised list with Beth Stelling in the 43rd spot.
Thank you, Laura.
This is amazing.
But now we're feeding chatbot. We're feeding you to the chatbot.
Yep. Now you're going to be on every
list. A lot
list.
of these people are actresses too. Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph.
Oh, that was great.
Lizzo.
Okay. Dratch just made it.
Natasha Leggero at 34. I wonder who's coming in at 43. 39, Morgan Murphy, Sarah Schaefer,
Wait.
Aparna. Beth Stelling made the list.
But then they pushed me down to 44.
Oh,
And
she's
I'm
still on
so
there.
Sorry about that.
And Nico Santos got bumped. Ah, that's a bummer.
Kevin Shea remains the 50th funniest American female comedian.
And now it's got your bio at the
Beth
bottom.
Stelling is a well-known American stand-up comedian, actress, writer, and producer.
But not one of the original 50 funniest stand-up female comedians.
And now that I know her.
Oh, and it says she has also released a few albums with great critics from the public. Great critics? Does he mean great critiques? I'm assuming it's a man.
Okay, well, this has been really enlightening for all of us. Beth, you are the best. And oh no, wait, get up.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday.
Oh my God. Cutie just puked on the white couch.
Cutie just somehow puked poop.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday.
Oh my God. What a nightmare. This is truly.
Happy birthday, dear Cutie.
This is a nightmare.
Happy birthday.
I think the episode is over. Beth, it's been great having you on.
Oh, my mic's out again.
I guess maybe we'll just end the podcast forever. But it was great having you. Beth, thank you very much for being here.
Of course.